How do you know someone didn't just make it up?
What? You mean just lie? You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Over the past 20 years, Arthur has remained one of the biggest children's television programs on the air, with millions of kids, including myself, who grew up watching it. But recently it seems that the show hit a new level of popularity with the internet growing attached to it, with many asking why this is. Based on the popular children's book series, the television show Arthur premiered in 1996 to much success. The show revolves around an aardvark in the 3rd grade, and while yes, that may not sound like the most interesting concept, the show's execution is what made it a hit. In fact, the only animated series that beats it out longevity-wise is The Simpsons. Arthur's cast includes a ton of memorable characters like the Brain, who's the smartest of the kids. While researching this video, I stumbled upon an episode where he says he celebrates Kwanzaa, which is interesting considering I never thought of the show's characters having different ethnicities. Also, fun fact, the character of the Brain used to be voiced by the YouTuber Steven Crowder. There's Muffy Crosswire, a monkey that's portrayed as being filthy rich on the show. This makes you think that her dad must be a business tycoon or something, but no, he's just a used car salesman that appears to be a multimillionaire. I don't know. Next you have Buster Baxter, Arthur's best friend, Mr. Ratburn his teacher, and DW his annoying little sister, just to name a few. The cast is pretty big with a lot of side characters that only show up once in a while in the fictional city of Elwood. The biggest thing the show has going for it though is its ability to discuss very serious topics in a very sensitive way kids could understand. There have been episodes that talk kids about death, asthma, cancer, dyslexia, and autism to name a few. The show never felt edgy bringing up these topics, but very tactfully incorporated them into the show's stories. Even though adults can enjoy the show, Arthur is clearly made for children. Unlike today's kids' television like Gravity Falls or regular show that slip in mature jokes, Arthur stays pretty wholesome. With that being said, the creators did occasionally sneak in a reference to things like South Park, but even then there weren't any inappropriate jokes, it's all clean.
Arthur! Hey, look, they're here! I told you! Hey, aliens, over here! Land here! Hurry! Oh! Hey, you squished Buster! Hey, come out!
Arthur came out just as the internet was slowly becoming available to the average household, which had them incorporating the World Wide Web into many of the episodes. I remember watching the show as a little kid and it would encourage me to use the internet to learn things, something I don't think any other show was doing at the time. Unfortunately for Arthur, in the more recent seasons it appears that a new company is in charge of making it, and have switched from the traditional animation style to Flash. All the characters now look like puppets, and in my opinion it's really bad. On top of this, the writing has taken a drop in quality too, although this may simply be because the show's been on so long that they're running out of ideas. While Arthur's quality may have dipped in the last few years, it hasn't stopped the online community from latching on to these iconic characters for brand new purposes. The internet has a way of taking old things such as a children's television show or simply a random image, then running with it. With the collective power of millions of people, anything can be turned into a piece of internet culture, including Arthur. Even though it may seem like references to Arthur online started in 2016, the internet's fascination with the show can be traced back over 5 years. Around 2010, the video games board on 4chan started to use the Arthur Comic Generator, a simple comic creator on the PBS Kids site, to create images that were often not very family friendly. Over a few months, these comics were spread around and more people started to make them, but this wasn't the only time 4chan used Arthur characters. To represent moderators of the site, which they call janitors, they used the school's janitor on the show, John Morris, to represent them. Since the ongoing joke is that the moderators of 4chan are losers that sit around eating Hot Pockets, people would Photoshop pictures of the cartoon dog to make fun of the site's janitors. But it wasn't just 4chan joking about Arthur, there was also Reddit. In the same vein as the Bert Strip subreddit, where people would take screenshots from the classic kids TV show Sesame Street and add not so innocent captions to them, the same was done with Arthur. People would add their own text to frames from the show and make them as ridiculous as possible. And by 2016, it seemed like Arthur was becoming one of the biggest things online, with more and more people taking these captioned images from the children's TV show and sharing them. A lot of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages began popping up to share Arthur to the world. Out of everything though, the most popular one spread around would be a screenshot from the episode Arthur Punches DW, which chronicles him punching his younger sister when she threw his model plane out of the window.
It didn't fly for 1 second. It's not my fault if you made a plane that can't fly.
I told you not to touch it!
People have taken the picture of Arthur's clenched fist and use it as a way to describe how they feel when they get mad or frustrated. How popular this is truly amazing considering it comes from a cartoon episode from the 90s. So many may ask why this is so popular. Out of all the shows, why did Arthur become the one that the internet latched onto? Well, perhaps it has to do with the fact that the show made a conscious effort to promote computers and going online before it was popular. It could have been some children's push to use the internet in the first place. Also, this show had probably been watched by a very large portion of the online community when they were young. Because of this, more will understand the references to the show and find the humor in it. It's amazing that this simple premise for a children's television show has persevered for decades, to the point that it's now an internet favorite. So Arthur, welcome to my Internet Hall of Fame. Whether that's a good or bad thing is completely up to you.